Hey, what is going on, my friends? Wow, it has been a minute. This is crazy. It's been such a long time since we've done one of these. So, welcome. My name is Joaquin Elizondo. I am an editor and the founder of Hollywood Editing Mentor. Welcome to HEM Connect, formerly known as Afternoon Tea with Hollywood Editing Mentor. Do you remember that? Who was here? Who used to come to those? That was a long time ago. I figured I rename it because, HEM Connect is just shorter, easier. So hope you guys like it. I mean, I dig it. That's the thing. The idea is here is we come here and we connect. Is that it's an interactive session. I want to hear your questions. I want to, discuss anything that you want to discuss. But also, I want you guys to connect, meet new people, meet new friends. That's why I say it's a live Q&A and networking session, because I don't only want to just be answering your questions, although I love that. I love questions. I hope you have a lot of them. But I also want you guys to connect because that's so important now. It always has been, but especially now, to network, to grow your network, to meet new people. And this is a safe space to do so. This thing is stress-free. This is, we're not judging anyone here. And, I want you guys to feel comfortable and have fun. But I love it. I love it. There are so many people here already. Let's say hello. What is going on? And look, it has been a long ass time. So I'm a little bit rusty here behind the controls. I am doing all the switching and everything. So, I apologize if things go, south here with, the technical stuff. I'll do my best. I did rehearse though. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a long ass time, honestly. Let's see. Let's say hello to everyone. Oh, there you go. That's what I was talking about. We got to move this thing over here, and then hopefully, there we go. There it is. Adriana de la Cruz. Welcome. So glad you are here. Andrew Proctor, what's up, my dude? Dude. Oh, my God. Matt Ferguson, howdy. What up? 10% more complicated. Hello, what's up? Ezra, hi. Patrick Land. Dude, how's it going? Cole Carly, hello. I hope I said that correctly. Again, hey, I'm probably gonna mess up a lot of names. I apologize beforehand. Amanda, ¿qué tal? Richard, what up, what up? Hello. Oh, hey, much appreciated. So happy that you are here. Crimson Vike, hello. All right, I love this. I love it. Emily, hello, hello. Editor Edward, hello. Raúl Hernández, ¿qué tal, compa? Face blue smiling. Okay, it doesn't come across. It's in the chat, but it won't come here in the broadcast. Anyway, it's all good. But all right, so look, again, if you're new here, my name is Joaquin Elizondo. I'm an editor and the founder of Hollywood Editing Mentor. I used to do these. They were called Afternoon Tea with Hollywood Editing Mentor. It started back, look, it's been around, Hollywood Editing Mentor has been around for 5 years. Started this back in the pandemic. And I started this as a way to connect back then, to stay in touch, right? And kept it going for a couple of years. And then I stopped doing it. I just got really busy and happy to be doing this once again. I mean, it's been well over a year. And again, it's just a safe space here where we can ask questions, where I can provide advice, where I also want, all of you to chime in if you want, if you feel you can also, give some feedback or give some insight. Definitely type in the chat box. All the questions, anything is going to go in the chat box. We'll get your questions right now. I did get some questions through email. Some people were not able to make it, and so there will be a replay. If you don't watch this over, and or if you want to send it to your friends, so we'll get to those in a bit. But I I'm looking to do more of these. The thing is, I'm very grateful that I've been busy. And I've had a 2-week gap here where I said, you know what? All right, I have some downtime. I want to do this. And I'm going to get busy again. But I hope to just keep doing this whenever I can, honestly, because I know we need it now more than ever. And so the first thing, though, again, I want people to chime in. I want people to write in the chat box, ask questions, bring up topics. But I want to know where everyone is tuning in from. Type in the chat box, where are you watching from? Already have a good turnout. I love this. People saying hello here in the chat. Type in the chat box. Where are you tuning in from? Come on, you were doing so good earlier. Nothing? All right. Well, I hope you can hear me. Hey, can you hear me? All right. I think you can hear me because I am seeing now New Jersey. Raul is all the way from New Jersey. I love it. I spent some time in West Orange, New Jersey a couple years ago. Alhambra. Oh, yeah, I got a good friend that lives out there. LA. Glendale, California. All right. Woodland Hills. Is it getting pretty toasty out there in Woodland Hills? LA, of course. Amanda, New Jersey, just outside of Philly. Oh, Matt Ferguson, Virginia, formerly from LA. Los Angeles, yes. Burbank. I love it. Watching from Mid-City, Los Angeles. John is greetings from Long Island, New York. All right. Yeah, I used to live in New York. I spent 5 years in Astoria, Queens. I loved it out there. Karina Espinosa del DF. Bienvenida. ¿Qué tal? Oh, yeah. John can hear me. Hey, great. Ezra, all right. Vinyl Vid, hello from Los Angeles. John A. Cahoon from Cincinnati, Ohio. Awesome. Welcome. So we got Santa Ana, California. Omar, órale. Love that guy. Sujit, what's up, my brother? Hey, I'm glad you're finally here. I think, yeah, man, I can't remember the last time I saw you one of these, man. It's been a while. So yeah, I love it. Any questions that we want to get to? If not, I'll just start it off because I got some from some community members. I can always say, like, if you can't make it to this, feel free to send in your questions because there will be a replay, and you can watch it, when you get back home or whatever, when you have some time. But let's get to it. Let's see. I had a question from David, and David said, or wants to know or asks, "Hey, I'm planning on going to Edifest next month, and I am making a long weekend out of it. I was wondering if anyone had tips as to what strategy to take with setting up meetings, considering I still reside in Chicago. What type of people to seek, what to plan ahead, or should I look for companies, etc. Thanks for all you do." Oh man, you're welcome. David, so awesome that you're gonna fly out here from Chicago. I know, a couple people that fly out from different parts of the country, from the world, that come out to Edifest, and I highly recommend it. Edifest, I think, is one of those, the one of the top events of the year. I would say that any of the ACE events you should go to at least once. But definitely Edifest is up there. It's the cheapest out of all of them. But so anyways, first of all, so who's going to Edifest? Who's going to Edifest? Type in the chat box. I want to see who's going to go to Edifest. I know I know they raised their prices. I get it, man. But I think it's still worth, no, it is worth going. I'll be there. If you are there, come say hi. Come say hi. But anyways, back to David. Look, first of all, yeah, great that you are flying out to EditFest, happening on August 23rd. I hope it's not as hot as last year. It sucked last year, man. It was, oh my God. If you were there last year, you know what I'm talking about. But that's the thing. I think it's about, first of all, preparing before you head out here. You can start preparing now, especially if you are looking to set up meetings. And so what I would do, and I didn't write kind of like what you kind of want to work on, stuff you want to, projects you want to work on, people you want to meet. I'm going to assume that you want to work in scripted because I know you, and I'm just going to assume that without you saying it. Maybe I'm wrong. But first of all, I would prepare as far as like, really being able to come to this event, and whether you're going to, obviously you're going to be talking to a lot of people at the event, whether you're going to be talking to probably, aspiring editors, post-production assistants, assistant editors. I mean, you're going to be talking to everyone. So one of the things I recommend, and again, this is stuff that I do or have done. So first of all, get your, if you are wanting to work in scripted, like really kind of prep with like understanding why it is that you want to work in script and being able to communicate that to people. Why you get excited about it, right? And what does that mean? I think everyone should be able to, for example, communicate. If you want to be an editor, for example, in scripted or TV or film, for example, you got to be able to talk about your favorite films, your favorite editors. I see that a lot where people, it's like asking, who's your favorite editor? I don't know. It's all right. Right? That doesn't look good. So learning how to speak the language, right? And showing someone that you're really excited about this, about the industry, about the work. So again, being able to talk about different, say directors and films and why you like it. It's being able to speak the language, because usually at these types of events, especially like say EditFest or any of the ACE events, it's like these are people that are like hardcore that, love this stuff and either are working in this industry or want to work in it. And we are all, truly, truly passionate about this. And so you should be able to communicate that. So it's just like whenever I tell, say even myself, when I talk to, say, my agents, right, I communicate what my goals are, what I want. Say, again, what directors I admire, what, say, genres I love, what films, what TV shows, everything. I can just name it right away. Boom, boom, boom. I like this, like this, like this, and speak the language and carry conversation with someone about this stuff because I know it and I love it. So that's one way to, I think, first of all, prepare, right? And I'm not saying like to go and like have a speech ready and memorize everything. I'm just saying like, really think about it and maybe even write out some like, bullet points as to like, say why you want to work in this. Again, what gets you excited? If people ask you like, what are some of your favorite films or editors? Again, being able to just name that, I think that's a good way to prepare. Again, don't overthink it. Right? Because then it's not about that. It's just being able, again, to just prepare and speak naturally about this stuff. Then the second thing is like, say if you want to meet with people out here. Well, I hope you are giving yourself enough time, right? Because this thing is on a Saturday. You're going to be flying from Chicago. I hope you're staying a couple days here, right? So you can hopefully meet people, say, during the week. And if you are, say, even considering moving to LA at some point, use this as a straight up like networking, trip and see also see where you want to live, maybe get to know the city if you don't know it already. But start setting up meetings if you can, now, right? Again, so I would set up meetings with, post PAs, assistant editors. I think anyone saying in the editorial department is fair game. But you're going to meet a lot of people at EditFest. And that's where I think you got to be prepared to, like, for example, get people's contact info, right? I've been using this thing. I have it here because I want to show you because I knew I was going to talk about this. But, like, I got this dot thing, this digital business card, right? It's great because I you know what, I just had love. See, I don't like to waste paper and whatnot. Whatever. And so this is awesome. And with this you can just go around and tapping on people's phones, and it's cool. It's interesting, and that way it's easy to just kind of swap contact info. And the other thing is, like, make sure that when you do go back, to stay in touch with everyone that you met. Send an email like a week, 2 weeks later. Hey, great to meet you. I want to stay in touch and keep at it. Honestly, obviously, like, every a couple times out of the year, like, just send people, say hello, whatever. Stay on their radar, right? But again, I think it's like, really hash out your schedule. Try to line up meetings. And also, if people are busy and you're limited on time, like, just focus on, an edit fest. And again, have a clear strategy. In this case, being able to talk about why you want to work and say whatever it is that you want to do, like being able to really communicate it. And also, one thing I will say this for everyone, it says, don't expect that, to just go to, like, say, for example, EditFest, and like things are just going to happen, right? With any of these events, you have to make it work for you. So you have to put in that work. You have to be active, and you have to go to these events, and you have to, when it's time to, after you hear to all these, all the panels, like, you got to make a point to, set a goal. I'm going to get 10 numbers today, whatever it is, or I don't know, whatever, 20, set a goal. But you just can't be, you really have to make sure that you leave that event with, contact info, from different people, and leaving there and knowing that it was worthwhile because you came all the way from Chicago, right? And so, again, it's just setting those goals, right? I'm going to meet X amount of people and force yourself to really talk to as many people as you can. Just go all out, right? Because it is, so important nowadays, more than ever, I think, to just have a solid network. So that's just some stuff I would recommend, right? And that honestly applies to anyone. Even if you are local in LA and not necessarily flying out from the Midwest or whatever, like, just have a strategy. Go to this, don't overthink it, but have a strategy. Going into this event, have goals, right? Be able to, again, speak the language. Make sure people know that you're excited, because you can tell, when you speak to someone and they're not, they're kind of bullshitting, or they're just not as have like such defined goals. I think when you hear people when you have defined goals and you can speak again the language and get excited, get people excited, it'll facilitate that connection, and very likely, get people to, say, give you their contact info and want to stay in touch, right? So you got to do that work. And I think you can start prepping now. Again, don't have something just memorized, like a speech or everything. But again, it's like, if this is stuff you love, you'll be able to talk about it, But, and if you are, for example, like, shy, right? Or have a hard time networking, get in front of the mirror, go with friends, practice. Like, again, write down topics, maybe an outline, things, again, that you like, editors, movies, anything that'll help you, right? Get a conversation going, because the last thing you want is, like, going to this event, spending the money, and you're just kind of there, whatever, with your lunch or drink, and just kind of hanging out. And that's a waste of time, a waste of money, right? So get yourself pumped up, right? And again, if you're there at a fest, come say hi. And maybe start, hey, whatever, we could chat, and then maybe introduce you to someone, and, but I want to hear people, like, speaking and telling me what they're into, and asking me questions, and this, again, that I know that gets people excited, and will most likely want to, people want to help you out. So, David, thank you for your question. I could keep on going, right? But that's what literally I would do. And if I was in your shoes and coming out to EditFest. And I think, also another thing you should mention, if you're trying to set up meetings, say, beforehand, say that, yeah, I'm flying for Chicago, I'm going to EditFest. I mean, that says a lot about you, right? I mean, if I heard that from someone, like, hey, I'm coming, from, I don't know, New York, and, this and that. I'm excited. I want to, all right. I mean, I'll get excited too. Maybe, when I meet with them or, so, just communicate that to people, because that is, that's a lot, man. Like, flying out for this event. And again, I know people who do it, and I do it every year. So awesome, man. Well, thank you for your question, David. All right. Let's see. All right. The questions are coming in. Let's check them out. Emily says, I love Edifest. I sad I can't make it this year. Oh, hopefully next year then. First time, Raul, at Edifest. So you come all the way from Jersey. That's awesome. Edifest is a blast. It's so fun. Third Edifest for me this year. Can't wait. Love it. Vinyl Vid is also going to be there at Edifest. Andrew Proctor as well. Awesome. All right. Well, again, come say hi. Let's see. Let's get some questions. Well, I know at some point someone was going to ask this, and this might take up the whole hour, but it's all good. I was going to bring it up anyway. And actually, I've been meaning to do a video about this, but again, I'm just very limited on time. Anyways, Raul Hernandez, I'm sure this is on everyone's mind, but what are your thoughts on the state of the industry? I'm on the team running BCPC in NYC, and I'm seeing things very slowly but steadily picking up. Well, yeah, I would agree with you there, Raul, that I definitely see things picking up. Look, I know there's it's weird because I know there's a lot of people out of work, a lot. But I also know a lot of my friends or people in my circle that are working or starting work soon, big projects, big scripted projects, film projects. I just wrapped a Netflix series, and I'm starting another Netflix series next week. So, that's the thing. It's weird because, again, the majority of people are out of work, but I do see this picking up very, very, very slowly, but there is more work. And that is why, again, it's about your network. It always has been. That's the thing. It's nothing different. It's just that now it's probably more important than ever. But what do I look, no one, that's the thing. No one can predict the future, right? No one knows what's going to happen. No one can tell you, anyone out there trying to tell you what's going to happen. They don't know. No one knows. I don't know. All I can tell you is from what I'm seeing from literally day to day, and so you're talking to colleagues, friends, and that includes editors, network executives. Everyone, right? In my own personal experience, is that, yeah, look, we all know, there's just not the same amount of work as there was a couple years ago. And I don't think it'll get to that level probably ever, right? So now what does that mean? Look, I don't think this is dead by any means. I don't think this industry is dead. No way. I'm still very optimistic. The only thing I'll say is that, yeah, look, there's not going to be that much work going around. And so it's going to be a lot more competitive. It's competitive now, and I think it's going to remain that way for I'm going to guess maybe another year before it kind of stabilizes, right? But again, that's just my prediction. But I just think it's going to be, I think last time I was talking to someone, a friend of mine, a couple weeks ago, and they said it's going to be how it was in, 2014. And I can see that, where again, this wasn't an industry. It's not, it's not the thing is, it's we saw this kind of bubble right over this, for a couple of years, right? Where it was ton of work. It was great, but that wasn't, we all knew that wasn't going to last. It's not realistic, right? And so the truth is that historically, it's like, it's always been like this, right? It's always been challenging. It's always been difficult. It's been competitive, right? So we're just going to go back to those times. And so, but it's like, if you want to do it, you can do it. I mean, I do believe it has to do a lot with your network. I mean, and I say that I recommend that, to people, and that's what I do myself. I am hitting that networking hard, but I always have. That's just me. And that honestly just never ends. And so, that's just my prediction. I mean, like, I do see movement. And compared to, like, I say it was last year, there's a lot more, right? But obviously it doesn't compare to, say, how it was in 2021, 2022. I don't think we'll get to those levels again. I hope we do. I just don't see it, right? But I do hope we have that much work again. I just personally don't see it. I could be completely wrong. So it's very important to, try to go to these events like Edit Fest and go to quality events for sure. Cause also, like, going to too many events, you get like networking burnout, So that's kind of like, I mean, look, we go deeper into this, right? Into the business of it all. But that's just kind of like the short version, at least in what I think, but there is, look, again, I'm very optimistic. And it is about, I know we've been saying this for a while now, hang in there. But I mean, like, I just don't know what else to say. Like, it really is. I mean, if you can, hang in there, because I think we will see more opportunities as the new year rolls around, because now we're going into kind of like, I guess, what is it, middle of summer? I mean, like, a lot of things staff up for like September, October, and so you might still be able to get, say, something then. But then as you start getting into late summer, then it's like, all right, well, maybe start looking towards the new year, right? But I mean, like, I think it'll still be a while before things kind of stabilize, but gotta hang in there if you want to do this and put in that work with regards to, like, networking, meeting people, and sharpening your skills. Don't get rusty. And I'm telling you this from experience, right? I went through some downtime as well, and look, I was able to pick things back up. I'm very fortunate. But, I don't just kind of say this. I'm just, I'm just not making things up. Like, this is literally stuff that I do, have been doing, continue to do so. Right. But anyways, if anyone else has some thoughts about the industry, please share them in the chat box. Be curious to hear what you think. But thank you, Raul. Let's see. 10% more complicated. I love that. I was on a show for a long time, 18 years, and over time I lost my network. Now I need to find a new group of contacts. Any general networking tips? I look, thanks for sharing that. This is, I've seen this happen many times, and I understand it. And yeah, that's the thing. It can happen. It's like, you have stability and you're on a show for a long time. That's great. But it's like, then you get into kind of your comfort zone and you don't branch out and meet other people. And that's one of my biggest lessons, working in this for now, as an editor in broadcast for over 20 years, is to expand my network. Don't get too comfortable with, say, one job, and especially one team instead of contacts, right? So I don't know what you necessarily do 10% more complicated as far as like what you work in. But whatever it is that you want to work in, or if you want to continue doing what you're doing right now, but reach out to other people, like other teams, right? Get involved with other networks. I mean, like, and it's not about just going out there and finding opportunities. It's about really just meeting people, like establishing new relationships. Where, again, going to events, going to something like this, virtual or in person, screenings, I don't know, like a run clubs. I started one, a run club, HEM run club. I mean, anything. And meeting new people and just starting to grow relationships with people outside of your usual network, right? And so maybe it's not like, oh, right away you're going to be getting a job, say, with another team. I'm just saying, but that's where you start. You start gravitating towards other people, meeting other people outside of your network, right? And it really is, for example, as easy as going to other events, or reaching out to other people, literally sending cold messages, cold emails to the people that you want to meet and get to know. Obviously, when reaching out to people, say, it's always good to like kind of tell them why you're reaching out, in a sense of like you admire something that they've done, you're a fan or whatever. And that's how it starts, right? So it can be, it can take a while. It's more of a long-term thing or not. Sometimes you click with someone and something happens. You never know, but that's the thing. You got to start, and you got to just start branching out and just kind of get out of that comfort zone of, say, just meeting always with the same people and go meet new people. I do it. I still do it. And that's been so important. And also, like, say, and it's a little bit trickier now because it's hard to be picky now with work these days, right? As opposed to like before, where you could be like, all right, maybe, I'll pass on this job and maybe, because I don't want to work in the same thing or the same team. Maybe it's good to go to this other team, right? So it's a bit different now, but it's like, but that's something I would do or was mindful of before, right? Again, things are just different now, but it really is. Look, again, it's just all about relationships. So it is about going out there and just meeting a new group of people, honestly, and looking for them. Wherever it is that, I don't know. I mean, like, look, for example, I work primarily in scripted TV and film. And so I'm going to usually go to those types of networking events, go to the ACE events, go to screenings, right? Or if I get invited to, like, say, I got invited once to like a rock climbing group. It's a bunch of like editor assistants or people in post. I got invited through someone and all right, well, maybe I should go, stuff like that, branch out, try something different. Oh, it's 10% is Aaron. Aaron, I hope I said that correctly. All right, well, thank you, Aaron. I hope that helps. Yeah, see, I was on a talk show, multicam, but I want to expand to scripted possibly. So that's the case. Yeah, you got to meet people in scripted. You got to branch out. You got to be in those circles. And, it might be, again, you might have to get out of your comfort zone, but it starts there as being in the circles. Look, I used to work in multicam, talk show multicam. That's what I used to do. I started in New York. I was doing that in New York. Got to LA and was able to, break into scripted. And what did I do? I was editing, say, talk shows. And then I got to LA and then started assisting, on low budget indie features and, cutting like short films for like, no money or like this and that. So I was then now getting into those circles, meeting those people, right? And for example, like if I was getting thrown multicam shows or talk shows, I would say no, right? Or again, I just shifted my energy to now this other group of people, this other community. And that's the thing, that's key, because that's where the communities I started getting involved with were like, say, scripted film, post-production, right? All right, thank you. Oh man, I think I see a lot of questions here. I love it. Let me see. All right, let's see. Who else? Let's see. All right. Oh, of course, this one. John Keeney, how do you believe AI will affect job opportunities in our industry? Again, no one knows what's going to happen, right? And I don't claim to know, predict the future or know exactly what's going to happen with AI. Will AI maybe take away some job opportunities, some jobs in the industry? I don't want it to happen. Let me be clear. I don't want it to happen, but I think it will. you know, and I don't think it'll take over completely our industry, but I do, yeah. I mean, I think that'll happen, unfortunately. So I think like some positions are going to be lost, you know. But it all depends, I guess, you know, what you want to work in, you know, what you're working in, you know. But yeah, it's gonna, you know, again, I don't think that this, you know, I was watching, like, I went to go see F1, which I love, by the way. I would totally see it again. Who has seen it? What do you think? And I was like, man, this AI, I mean, like, no way. I mean, like, this AI can't do this, you know? And so, again, you know, will it be used in some departments and whatnot? Maybe, yeah, maybe. Excuse me. But I wouldn't, you know, I don't think it'll just, you know, kill the industry anytime soon. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, will we start seeing like bigger shifts with regards to AI in the next 5 years? Probably. Yeah. And that's, you know, why I think it's important to get comfortable with AI. Can't stop it. And so I think it's just better to get comfortable with it. And, but, you know, you know, I think it will take over some jobs. Although I hope it doesn't. But I mean, the stuff coming out now, I mean, like it's nuts, right? Unless, you know, I don't know. You know, again, I don't know how the union can regulate this stuff, and if you are working, say, in union projects. But again, I don't think that it will like kill the industry. You know, that's what I think. No, I don't think so. But thank you. Anyone else? What do you think about AI? I mean, huge topic. I mean, we could be here all, you know, all day talking about the industry and AI, and so happy to hear whether anyone else thinks. What are the main cities for scripted editing? Are there opportunities for remote work? So for scripted, you know, the main hub is still LA. That's the main hub, right? Obviously, you see a lot of stuff in New York. And of course, now you're seeing stuff obviously overseas. I mean, you know, London's a big hub. And, you know, I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening in Mexico City. And it's just, you know, it's more global now, you know. And but I will say that, again, what is it, or are you interested in? What kind of stuff do you want to do? It's like, if you ask me like about, like, say, union scripted opportunities, then yeah, I'm going to say LA for sure. That continues to be the hub. But, you know, there's people, I mean, I know there's, like, you know, production companies in, like, you know, Nashville, you know, all the other places, you know, there's production happening all over. But with regards to post, I still see LA being the hub, New York as well. And you know, I mean, London's a big one. Canada, of course, Vancouver, Toronto, you know. And are there opportunities for remote work? I mean, I get this question a lot. You know, people ask me, do I need to be in LA, you know, if I want to work in this? I will still say yes. I think that if you are just, say, starting out, especially, I think it is important to be in LA. If you're more established, especially as an assistant editor, then you will, you know, can be anywhere else. I mean, look, I've been on shows where our assistants are in other cities outside of LA, right? This next show I'm working on, I know a lot of people are working remotely. But again, like, that's the thing. I was like, people are established, right? They've been doing this for a while. I know, for example, I know an assistant editor right now who's living out like in the Midwest. They've asked them for their next show to come out to LA. And that's the thing. It's like assistant editors mostly are staying remote. it's like I rarely hear now of assistant editors being asked to come into the office. Again, I work primarily in scripted TV, and the editor is usually the one that is going to the office, right? So if you are an editor, I think it's very important to be in LA. But like, I never say it's impossible, right? But someone that's just like starting out, for example, and it's like, I don't know, in Michigan, and it's like to land a job. I mean, like a scripted job, like a union scripted job, I would say it's challenging. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's gonna be really challenging. I think if you're just starting out, you got to be in LA or New York, and then maybe as you've kind of become more established, then yeah, you can go back to your hometown wherever that is, But I will still keep saying it that it's important to be LA, New York, or if you're again, or if you're like in Europe, maybe London. I think there's a lot of stuff happening in Ireland. Depends. I mean, we won't go deep into that, right? But I would say those are some of the main cities. But thanks for your question. Raul agreed. I think that we're still in the industry correction period after the streaming boom that occurred around 2020, 2021. Definitely. No, we're still in it. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I think that we're going to be in it, for another year. I think in about a year, we'll just have a clearer picture, of that's happening. Yeah, I mean, this is going to take a while still. But again, I am optimistic. I am still optimistic, and weirdly, I mean, again, it's like I know enough people, and a lot of people in my circle who are working. Adriana de la Cruz question: how suppressed is the industry since the SAG WGA strike? I mean, yeah, it's very, right? I mean, since that's when it started, right? I mean, like it hit me hard, at that time. I think, like, for example, it hit me, like, say, the unemployment stuff and whatnot earlier than I think most people. And I don't know. I think that's people just get it differently, for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, things just haven't been the same, right? Since then, since 2023. But I will keep saying that I feel like that's the thing. Like, compared to, like, say, last year, we are seeing movement. I would say even compared to, like, say, there was a point even this year, even though we're only like 7 months in. There was a point like earlier this year where things started ramping up, and then it dropped. It got really, really, really quiet. And now it's like coming slowly back up, right? But I think now it's like, yeah, it's becoming more like, again, you got to be in those circles. You got to be in those circles, and it goes back to networking. You got to, very likely have some type of connection, know someone. And again, I'm not saying impossible, but like, just it's hard coming into a show. And even if that was the case before, like coming into a show not knowing anyone, it's always been hard, right? That's the thing. It's not much different. And so, those same concepts still apply. And it's just like now, it's like, it's just tough to get in with a team without having some connection, someone vouching for you. So again, I'll just never stop talking about networking. But again, I'll repeat it. I am seeing movement, and I'm still very optimistic. Let's see. Crimson Vike, I'm wondering about what to do to find work. I've been searching for work as a PA or assistant editor to gain experience, but haven't had much luck. How do you go about finding these opportunities? Well, look, again, it's like the opportunities that I have come across have mostly been through someone, right? Someone reaches out to me, are you available? Or someone puts my name forward, and of course I have an agent, so that is also helps, right? But that's how I find my work nowadays, right? Like, now I'm not gonna say back in the day, but like when I first got to LA in around 2016, and I started working scripted in like 2017. Yeah, that time was different. Like you could find like jobs on Facebook, staff me up, all that stuff. I think, that's hard nowadays. And I think by the time, for example, a job lands, like someone posts a job, for example, like on a Facebook group, even if it gets there, at this point, you're getting hundreds of resumes like in 5 minutes, right? So that's the thing. It's like you have to be getting to know people. I mean, that's how it works. So how do you find these opportunities? How do you find these people? It's like you got to put yourself out there. You got to go to events and go to those communities, right? And tell people what you want to do and get to know people. Start building relationships. I mean, you can't just be out there like asking for work. But I'm saying like getting to know people, getting to know a new community, staying in touch with them, developing a relationship. And then, with time, or not, maybe it's quick, something comes up, you get some type of opportunity. You get a shot at being a PA or assistant editor, right? But, again, if this is I speak for like, scripted TV, and film and union stuff. But, depends what you want to do. But I mean, like, I think in general, for example, like if you were working in something else, I don't know, you wanted to work in, video games, promos, I don't know. And you want to apply to like a company, right? It's again, it would be the same thing. I would say that you got to find some in. Again, but that's always been the case, right? I mean, like, it's nothing different. Like, you have to go find someone to kind of like put your name or your resume or whatever, like in that person's, the hiring manager's, whatever, desk, as far as like supposed to like just applying on a website or whatnot. I mean, that is rough. That's, so you got to find some in, and it usually is through meeting people or you finding an opportunity, making it happen yourself, right? Whatever it is you want to do, like go write an email, like a cold outreach email, right? Try to get a meeting, and be, persistent, obviously respectful, but like, you got to put in that work too. It's not, stuff is just not going to land in your lap. We all do, myself included nowadays, have to work extra hard because things are just that much more competitive. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Again, this industry has always been tough. I mean, whether it be scripted, or you want documentaries, reality, promos, anything, like having a career as an editor, like that it's always been hard, right? And so it's important to understand that from the beginning. That's just it's normal, right, to find these challenges, to encounter these challenges, and that it requires a lot of work from us to navigate this industry and create these opportunities for ourselves. And that's what we've chosen. If we want to do this, we got to put in that work and that effort. And I get it. It's exhausting. And the uncertainty, can cause a lot of stress. And again, I speak from experience. But, I don't want to do anything else. I've thought about, like, say, what would be my plan B, and I can't think of anything. So I got to make this thing work. I got to make it happen. And so I'm finding any way I can to create those opportunities for myself. And I'm out there getting them, you know, and putting myself out there, really telling people what I want to do, who I want to meet. And, you know, but it has taken practice, right? For me to be able to put myself out there, not be shy, scared, and not overthink things. And just, again, going back to that question about Edifest, like being able to just be sharp about communicating what you want and being confident in how you communicate that as well. All these things are so important, right? To show that confidence so people, you know, can see that you have that fire in you and they can trust you, they get excited for you, and that hopefully want to bring you on board to their team, right? Give you that opportunity. See what else? Yeah, networking is the key to finding work in this industry. Yes, there are job sites that you can apply on, but a lot of work never gets posted there because people go to their network to fill that role. Exactly. Like that's where people are going to go first. Their network. And then other people's network. And then once again, I remember someone telling me this. A post supervisor. It's like, because we were having this discussion many years ago, before the pandemic. And it was like when a post like reaches Facebook, like a job post, I mean, that thing's been shopped around so many networks, right? Like no one's gonna go to Facebook first. I wouldn't. And so once it gets there, yeah, it's been passed around. And then at that point, that person's getting, I don't know how many resumes now. I mean, I hear people like getting, when I get an email through one of my communities or groups about like, oh, looking for an assistant or looking for something, within minutes, that person replies, hey, enough. I already got enough resumes. I mean, that's the thing, right? So you got to stand out. You got to be in those circles. And then, and then that's another conversation about how to stand out, say, with your resume, with your networking. The whole other thing. Obviously, a lot of stuff that I talk about through the All Access Pass on HollywoodEditingMentor.com. I mean, I have courses on this, you know, and we do, monthly coaching calls, and we discuss this. We review materials and whatnot, because it's so important right now to stand out. You got to stand out. Yeah, 10% more cover. Aaron, I think. Aaron, exactly. That's what I'm finding. Yeah. No, it's always been the case. I mean, it's just always, been working on networking, on trying to expand my network into scripted so I can finally get my break. But with my rate stagnant and unscripted, it's getting tough to stay here in LA as a single parent. I hear you, man. I understand that. I understand that, man. It's tough. Yeah, no, it's not, again, it's not, I'm not saying that it's okay. And, but to understand that it's not, it's not easy. It really isn't. Like anyone, it's interesting hearing like a lot of these like big name editors, right, who are winning Oscars and this and that. And when they tell you about like their career trajectory, they talk, they say how like, oh yeah, it took me whatever 25 years to get here, and it was tough. It wasn't easy, like because people only focus like, for example, oh you're cutting whatever, Wicked and this and that. Well, yeah, but like that Wicked just didn't land on Myron's lap. I mean, he worked so hard, and I can't even imagine all the challenges he faced throughout his career, right? It's tough. It's a tough industry, man. And I get it. And I hope it works out for you. But I guess I just say that to, it's like, you're not alone, man. It's like, this is tough. It has been tough for me at times. And so, I hope you can find a way to make it work for you. Right. Raul, my first job was full swing for Netflix. I applied to it. Since then, every other job I've gotten was through a network referral, not by applying on a site. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time I applied on a website. I mean, that must have been 20 years ago. F1 was amazing. Yeah, I loved it. I would go see it again. It was great. Yeah. Raul thinks F1 was just all right. But the driving sequences were amazing, though. All right. Ezra, I'm admittedly not as anti-AI as I used to be. I just don't want it to be the dominant technique when it comes to filmmaking. Yeah, I agree. No, and that's the thing. Like, I think when we were first kind of talking about it, when was it? Like, at some point last year, 2 years ago? I can't remember. But yeah, I was kind of hesitant. I said, no way, man. Screw this. But, yeah, I mean, I understand, like, now, how, first of all, you can't stop it. And it can be helpful, right? But yeah, I don't want it to just be this is what, like, the stuff that we rely on to make movies or scripted TV or, I think it has its place maybe in other type of material, projects, content, whatever, it's just a tool, right? And again, if you could just use it as another tool, it's great, but not have it just be like, all right, we're just relying to, type of prompt. Oh, you got a movie. Like, no way, but yeah, again, I've talked about it a lot. It's like being open to change and things changing. Things are changing. And it happened, again, look back at history, like it's happened before, right? This is nothing new. It's just, I think it happens faster now, but it's nothing new. And I think that I think it's important just to be open to change, right? And I think it is important in this case to be familiar with AI. I mean, at least be like familiar with it, know what's happening, be comfortable with it, and be open-minded, I think, more than anything. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how much it's improved. Yeah, I know, exactly. That's now, right? I mean, like, imagine another, I don't know, 3 months, with the type of content they're able to generate now compared to when it first started coming up. Yeah, no, and it's, of course, yeah, again, look, it's only, it's only going to get better. But I do believe that you'll need that human element, so yeah, again, I don't think it's just going to, like, eliminate all positions and humans, I said, I don't think. I hope it doesn't. But it'll just be, I hope it's just another tool, right? Because even now, I'm getting tired of looking at AI material, honestly. I've gotten, like, I'm kind of over it. It used to be kind of like, it reminds me back in the day when, like, the DSLR thing started happening, for example, in a way. It just reminded me of that. And I just got tired of the same look. Everything looked the same. And I'm like, this is exhausting. That's how I feel right now. And so I'm kind of tired of it, and I mean, I just kind of, the look, and again, I just, again, go back to, like, F1 and seeing that. And I was like, oh man, this is so exciting and fresh. And I don't know, but again, it's just developing, changing so fast. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I love it. I love all these comments and questions. We'll keep going for a bit. Lynette, I worked remote for a production team in Florida, scripted, and the whole post team was in LA. Yeah, no, I mean, again, all the shows that I've worked on the last couple of years, people have been remote. I was remote, outside of LA. Yeah, but I do think, again, I'll just repeat it, is that I think it is important to have a presence in LA or New York or one of the major hubs to have a longstanding career. Initially, And even if you are, say, working remotely, I think, like, say, in a city outside LA or New York, to be still connected to the community there, that'll never end. But yeah, I don't think you can get away from that yet. Matt Ferguson, you mentioned having someone vouch for you. Yeah, I mean, like, just someone kind of, put your name forward, or, saying basically, like, this person can do the job, or, whatever. Just putting your name forward. That's important, or having some connection, because it also, like, it doesn't have to be like something like a completely direct connection. Like, I've been on some shows where, like, I've worked with kind of indirectly with say, people on that team on another project, and just being able to, for example, like, having that connection help me get a job. I know, other people say they hire people because they've done work on that same network. I mean, like, like, just coming in kind of like not knowing anyone or not having a connection is a bit tough. It's a bit tough. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's gonna be challenging. You have to have someone say, hey, you know what, this is Matt's my guy, whatever, like, or you can trust him, or I don't know, just have someone say, grab that resume, put that name forward. Adriana, have not heard how to get jobs, let alone invited to the union. Is that ever going to be possible to get into IATSE Local 700 for new up-and-coming editors of tomorrow? Well, I mean, you don't necessarily get invited to the union. So, I mean, you got to work get your hours, and then you just, and then once you do, you get on the roster, then you can, join the union and pay the initiation fee, and then pay the quarterly dues. Is that ever going to be possible to get into IATSE Local 700 for new? Yeah, why? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, again, I don't. Yeah, is it? Here's the thing. Like, is it challenging? Yes, but again, it always has been. It always has been, right? So yeah, look, I know people getting into the union now. So yeah, I mean, you can still do it. So it is possible. It's totally possible. Might have to work harder, but yeah, no, that there's still work out there, and I see it that way. Again, it's like, not that this is dead by any means. It's just, yeah, is it more competitive? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So you just got to have really define goals and strategies, and see how it works for you, right? To navigate this and to get in. Karina Edits, what's going on? Let's see. I'm going to move this over here a bit. Man, that's a lot of great stuff. I love this. Again, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I really, really love this. I thank you just for your time, for being here, and for participating. And I hope to do this again soon. What are your tips for keeping yourself organized when following up with emails, meetings, and networking events? How do you personally like to prioritize these? Well, let's see. I guess the way I understand it, your question, I think it's like, when I go to an event, I usually, meet a lot of people, and new people, right? And I can tell, like, say, who I kind of had a strong connection with and who maybe didn't have as strong of a connection, right? And so I guess that's how I prioritize things, and really I lean into who I noticed that like, wow, there was chemistry, or like, we just really got along, and we just really hit it off, right? It is not to say that I'm not going to reach out to someone else who I didn't have that strong of a connection with, right? But I guess if that's what I'm going to think about first, right? That person that I did have a strong connection with, I'm going to think about first and reach out, right? And so, when do I reach out? I say probably like after like an initial meeting. I don't have like, after a week or like, X amount of days, like I'll just send out a follow-up email. I think, soon, right? Again, with someone that I really, really connected with, I reach out and say, how much I enjoyed our conversation. It was great. And obviously mention maybe something about the conversation, something fun or something you connected on. And if, for example, maybe someone shared their info with you and you didn't get to share your info with them. So that's the opportunity that, hey, just so you know, here's my info. And like that. And maybe like, for example, maybe you keep the conversation going again. Maybe you hit it off very well with this person and it just kind of naturally keeps going, right? And you just kind of go back and forth and maybe you meet up again soon. I don't know, right? But I really kind of make it a point, like with those people that I truly connect with, to just be more on it, right? To be more on the radar and to follow up every so often. And again, I don't have like defined, say, times or say when I reach out to someone. It's kind of like when it feels natural. Sometimes, for example, like if we have a conversation about something, I don't know, say baseball, and then I don't know, something comes up about that later on, and I'll text them or email them, just say, hey, whatever I thought about that. I don't know, anything, right? I don't overthink it. And so that's just kind of how I do it. Again, I don't think about it too much. I just let it flow and now how to keep track of stuff maybe. On my phone, where I say on the contact form or whatever, I'll write, say, maybe sometimes little notes, right? About like, say, what this person does, where I met them, maybe something that we connected on, like, just to remind me, that's kind of like a little bonus. But again, I don't overthink it, but the most important thing is the follow-up. That's what I think a lot of people don't get right or forget to do, is follow up with someone. Cause it's happened to me where like, I'll meet people and then I'll never hear from them. And I'm like, oh, like, I really like that person. I never hear from them, And like the other way, like if I reach out to someone, like I kind of lean more towards like, if I overdo it, like I rather do that than not, like overdoing it as far as like reaching out. Like I'm just being who I am, right? I don't overthink it, and I just kind of reach out whenever I feel it's natural. And if it's more than usual, I don't know, that's what I felt like, and if I know them, well, I know them. I don't know. I just did what I felt was natural, That's just me. That's who I am. That I just like to check in and I just kind of like, then, yeah. And I just kind of see where the relationship goes and how it flows, yeah, that's how I manage it. Good question. What's going on, Amanda? Amanda says, I struggle with coming up with the right questions to ask, both new mentors and existing ones. Do you have suggestions that feel genuine to ask people who are well established in their careers? Well, I mean, I guess it just kind of goes back to like not overthinking it and yeah, and trying to feel like what's the right question. I've always been someone that's like, what do I want to know now? I don't kind of like think about like, what's the right question? Like, I'm like, what am I feeling now? What doubts do I have? What do I want to know about? Even if it's like, something that you might think it's silly or not as important, or that is not so like career defining, or I just want to, whatever it is I'm thinking now, I think what I'm feeling is the right question, and so that's the thing. It's like I'm a very curious person. Like I'm very curious. Like I'm always been obsessed with how things work, how people think, why they do things. Like I ask too many questions, right? Because I'm just so curious. Sometimes it's like stuff that's like, you might think it's silly, it's not as important, but I still want to know. So it's important to me, right? And I think like, if you have the right mentor and the right person that you're talking with, you're not going to ask a silly question. I think for the most part, all of us have experienced the same things and have thought about the same things. We're kind of like all connected through this work in a way, So, I that's my best advice, is just to like, whatever it is that you're feeling, or you want to know, ask it, no matter what it is, honestly. I mean, obviously be respectful. Don't, go overboard or whatever. Don't get too personal, I guess. But maybe you have that relationship. I mean, I've gotten to like say with some mentors who are my dear friends, and we do get, our relationship has evolved into, now we can talk about really personal things, right? But I mean, that takes time. And I think also another thing that I suggest is that, carry around, whether it be an actual notebook or or your phone or an iPad. I even suggest nowadays, I recently got one of these, it's a voice recorder. I know I could probably use my phone, but I like having a dedicated voice recorder. That's just me. Record your thoughts. Record your questions. Because I know like sometimes we're like at the supermarket or whatever, like we're at the movies and we think of something and then like we forget. Get in the habit of like writing stuff down. I'm constantly writing stuff down. I forget. Again, I have my notepad, I have my voice recorder, and you'll see we'll come up with a lot of stuff, right? But I think like, yeah, that's the thing. It's like being curious. It's so important and wanting to know things, how things function. Why did you do this? Talk about, also, getting to know them, right? I mean, like what were some of your biggest challenges? What, I don't know, learn about their lives, right? It doesn't all have to be about like, say, editing. It's like really get to know them, right? So, ask stuff about, say, where they grew up, or, what movie, I don't know, influenced them. I don't know, random questions, right? Because those things like also help develop relationships, they establish connection, right? And that's how I got to know a lot of my dearest friends who are my mentors, is like asking these like just simple questions about just life and editing, of course, right? But just whenever like has some downtime, I remember just, I don't know, I mean like whatever, just random thought, or something that I would think about. I mean, I got to ask them this, whatever, because I thought about it before I wrote it down, But I guess just don't get caught up in thinking you have to ask that $1 million question, whatever. Because usually like the ones that we just kind of randomly think about are like the ones that are the most interesting ones, right? And fun ones. And that people probably will like just kind of speak about naturally. And it'll just flow much better. Do you think Avid Media Composer is losing ground to Resolve as a top dog? I'm going to say that for example, I'll just say that in scripted TV, no. Avid is still the top dog. Me personally, do not know of any Resolve jobs. So from my, say, point of view, yeah, I think Avid Media Composer is still number one with regards to like scripted, union scripted work and unscripted. I all the jobs I hear about are in Avid. After that, it's Premiere. In fact, my next job will be in Premiere. And Resolve, no, I not me personally again, but so again, no, I don't think so. But I know people love Resolve, and I know it's very powerful. And it has gained some ground, but I don't. Yeah, no, I think again in Union Scripted, it's still Avid Media Composer. Yeah, you don't get invited to join the union. In LA, you work towards it by getting on the roster and working a certain number of hours. In NYC, you have to get hired on a union job and pay your dues. Yeah, I think it's a little bit different out in the East Coast. I believe there's no roster on the East Coast union. But thanks for sharing that, Raul. I forgot. There is one more question. I got a question through email. Eileen, what's up? All right, Eileen. Not sure if you were able to make it, but let's see what you brought. Hi, Joaquin. I just wanted to give you my questions ahead of the Connect tonight in case I can't make it. I have experience in sports television and graphic design and media assets management, but I want to expand my career on the TV and movie side of the business. So my questions to you is, how does a person get to work for a company or companies like you have in the media assets department or the on-air promotions for TV and movies? Well, like for example, like studios, say for example, like Netflix, like they have their own promos, marketing department. I've worked for other studios, like for our networks, like that will, have a, third party company or like a promo company, a trailer company do the marketing work. So yeah, usually, so like, if I work for Netflix on a Netflix show, I work for the production company, right? I'm not working for Netflix, right? I'm not a Netflix employee. So say we'll be working on our show, and then like Netflix marketing will request like, material from us, right? So they can start doing their promos and working on their trailer and all that stuff, right? So if you want to work, say for example, on, just as an example, like say you want to work for like on-air promotions or like for like say for Netflix, then you would have to go apply with them, like Netflix directly, right? Or, if you want to work in trailers, work for trailer companies. But yeah, like usually a show, I've never worked on a show where we handle like our own promos, or marketing. It's all handled through either the studio or like a third party, company. So you would have to say apply directly with them or know someone there. Obviously, as we talked about earlier, know someone there that'll get you in. But it's more on the, I'll say, on the corporate side, it's two different things. So, find out, kind of what stuff you want to work on or like say, or like companies that do this stuff, whether they have it in-house like Netflix or other, just kind of standalone companies that focus on marketing, stuff like that, right? That's something I would say. I just talking about Netflix is I've worked with them a lot, but I used to go on their website and I would see, I think, like a lot of those positions. I don't know now. It's been a while, but I would see a lot of like, marketing promotions positions on their website. And it's the same thing. Like, so that's the same thing. What I would say is like, as far as like getting in, it's like, it's best if you know someone, obviously. It's basically if you know someone that could get you in. It's the same concept applies, it'll be tough just going, say, on the Netflix website and just applying for this gig. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that would be hard. I personally, if I did apply, because eventually you have to this protocol, right? But like, I would try to find an in, through someone that can literally like take my resume and, hand it to like the hiring manager. But thank you, Eileen. I did not forget. All right. We've been here a while, and this is great. Again, thank you for showing up. Don't forget to subscribe to the Hollywood Editing Mentor YouTube channel. I hope to be doing more videos soon. Hit like here on this video. I mean, it just helps get the word out about the channel and just Hollywood Editing Mentor in general. I mean, I wonder how many people you hear just like the first time that has just recently found out about Hollywood Editing Mentor, or first time being at one of these. I'm curious to know. I know I've been away for a while, and again, I've just been busy. I've been working on a show, and it's I can't do both things at once. And I try to just I definitely try to stay connected through the Hollywood Editing Mentor newsletter, but it gets a little tougher when trying to do new YouTube videos and definitely the podcast episodes. But I'll see how I can squeeze these live Q&As, HEM Connect, more often, because this is great. And just, again, I started this 5 years ago, and there's many people that I've met throughout the years that have told me like, oh, I met someone through I used to call it afternoon tea, through your live sessions. And, a lot of stuff has happened, through these events. And I hope, you reach out to each other, and connect, because that's what this is about. It's about connecting. It's about connection and community and, hanging out. And, again, hope to do it more often because it's much needed. Carly, first time I was able to catch one of these live Q&As. Thank you so much for hosting. Great info. Hey, thank you. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you being here and participating. And I hope to see you at the next one. Yeah, Rich, I know. Definitely. I remember you being here. Great to see you again. And I hope to keep seeing you at these events in the near future. All right, any more questions? I know it's you're welcome, Matt. First time hearing about you. All right, I've been editing for 35 years, but the last couple of years editing features, but I'm always looking to network and learn more, and I'm a 10-year DaVinci user. Hello. All right. Hey, well, awesome. I'm glad that you're here. You found out about Hollywood Editing Mentor. Hope to see you at the other events. And hey, go DaVinci. Ezra, all right, first timer. Great to have you here. All right, Raul, yay, thanks for participating, man. Left all your questions. Yeah, definitely come say hi at Edit Fest. It's going to be a lot of fun. Get your tickets. If you plan on going, get your tickets because that thing sells out. It will sell out. So I encourage you to buy your tickets now. Amanda, of course, I will see you soon. All right, Karina, thank you. Thank you for being here. Lynette, first time here. Heard about you from Carly. All right. Super great event. Thanks for hosting. All right. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And again, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. This was awesome. This was fun. I love all the participation. Love all the questions. All right. There's a song. I haven't heard that in a while. Again, my name is Joaquin Elizondo. If you haven't checked it out, go to HollywoodEditingMentor.com. Lots of great content on there, resources for you to check out. Also, sign up for the newsletter. Well, if you're here, you already are signed up. But that's the way we stay in touch. And, I'll let you know about the next HEM Connect event. I hope to do more of these. I mean, I used to do them, I think, once a month, so hope to get back to that. And, but you'll definitely hear it through the HEM newsletter. Music, yeah. This song, man. Oh, man, it takes me back. Come say hi to EditFest. We'll be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, prepare for it. Come in with a strategy. You will be able to watch a replay of this. I'll try my best to do like chapter markers. It'll be available a couple minutes after we hit the finish button here. But hey, again, look. Always reach out to me via email. You have it. Thank you, DG. Thank you for being here. All right. That's it. It's dinner time. Thanks again for being here. My name is Joaquin Elizondo, the creator of Hollywood Editing Mentor. I do hope to see you at the next event. Thanks again. Good night.